I post a lot of homemade bread, and the one question I get asked the most is for the recipe and maybe a how-to video. So here you go. I'm literally mixing the flour, water, salt, and yeast together. I put a glove on here because I like the cleanup. It's much easier with a glove. I use the spoon that I have here as far as I can, but once the spoon doesn't cut it, I get in there with my hands and I start mixing. Now get ready to take a screenshot because this is the recipe right here, okay? Take a screenshot of that shit, save it. That's all you need to know. You can add things to it later. You can tweak it however you want to later. The main thing is you learn how to do this part. Now we're gonna wrap this and let it sit for 10 minutes after we mix it. After 10 minutes, I'm just gonna free it up from the bowl here. And now this part, you lift it from the center, you let the front fold under. Then you turn it 180 degrees and do the same thing. Let the front fold under. 90-degree turn, and you're gonna do it to the other side. So you're doing it to all four sides, north, south, east, and west. Does that make sense? Once you finish that, you're just gonna tuck it up. See, it already looks like dough, and we're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna let it sit on the counter or in the oven with the light on there for about 30 minutes. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna free it up from the bowl. I'm gonna show you on the counter here. I let the front fold under, let the bottom fold under. Spin it, and then we're gonna do the same thing to the other side. So all four sides get tucked under. Now we got this nice jiggly ball here. Yeah, like a nice thick booty, baby. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Now we're gonna put it back in the bowl after we're done playing with it and fantasizing, and we're gonna let it sit on the counter for another 30 minutes. Same thing, free it up from the bowl, tuck it under. See, you see in the same pattern here, right? Yeah, a little rhythm going on, huh? That's what I'm talking about. Now I like to use a little Sharpie here and mark the top to make sure that I know exactly what fold I'm on because I do this 3 times. I do 3 of these folds. The initial one after 10 minutes doesn't count toward the 3 folds. That one's just tucking it up. Then we put the Sharpie mark on there, let it sit for another half hour while I prepare all of my pans. Once all of my pans are set, I just use a little olive oil and I brush it around in there. Now we go to the next part. Now I can use the same dough here to make many different things. They're not all going to be 100% how they should be if you're making different things other than bread with this recipe. It is all going to be bread-like. You know, if you make buns or things like that, usually they're a little bit different. I highly recommend using a kitchen scale to weigh your shit. It will help you stay much more uniform. Now all that this part is, the shaping, you're just tucking it in to make it fit into the vessels that you chose. You know what I mean? Whatever vessel you have to put this shit in, you can make many different kinds of fucking bread with this same recipe. Like I said, it's all going to be bread-like. You know, sometimes rolls are different. You know what I mean? They have butter, they have milk, things like that in them. But you don't need that stuff to make a basic roll or make some basic focaccia. You know what I mean? You can do this stuff with this same recipe. You just have to shape them differently, put them into different vessels, treat them a little bit differently, and the outcome is going to be different. Here I'm making some basic sandwich rolls. I like to brush all of my breads at home with a little bit of oil. It all depends on the humidity in the air. If there's enough humidity, if I have like a little proofer or something, and they can stay steamed and a little elasticy, then that's fine. But at home, they tend not to for me, so I just put a little bit of oil on them. Here I'm egg washing the rolls so that they get more of a shine, putting a little flaky salt on there. Yeah, buddy. The focaccia, I dimpled a little bit and I'm rubbing it down with olive oil. That's some fresh garden rosemary right there. Yeah, look at these beauties. I'm telling you, this is all the same recipe. The same fucking bread dough got me all 5 of these different kinds of style of bread. You know what I mean? Different shapes, different textures, different flavors eventually. I mean, full disclosure, I did eat one of the buns. I know I made 2 and there's only 1 here. Yeah, couldn't wait to film it, okay? I had to eat one of them. I was fucking hungry. But I'm telling you guys, it's that fucking simple. All of these breads came from that same recipe. So you know what I mean? You gotta get down and you gotta do it. You gotta learn a little bit and it's going to make it so much better for you, trust me.